Across 15 seasons, Supernatural developed some of the best TV villains of all time, pitting Sam and Dean against demons, angels, and even God while threading those enemies into the Winchester's lore. Conflicts tied to old bargains and family death forced impossible choices, like saving one person or many, or tempting fate. Supernatural evolved into more than just a Monster of the Week horror show, and the series kept inviting its antagonists back, letting old wounds fester across seasons. The X-Files and Buffy, the Vampire Slayer perfected standalone terrors, but Supernatural turned villains into ambitious characters with motivations as essential to the Winchesters. These enemies reflected the brothers' worst impulses and shattered their family myths, yet some remained dangerously charismatic. From the yellow-eyed demon who lit the fuse to the king of hell who nearly stole the show, Supernatural's best seasons deliver rich, developed villains. Meg Masters. Nikki Acox as Meg Masters, looking worn and defeated in Supernatural. Meg Masters shows up in Supernatural's first season as a lone hitchhiker, only to reveal herself as a demon targeting John Winchester. From that first twist in Season 1 Episode 16, Shadow, she becomes a recurring presence across the series, slipping in and out of vessels and returning at key moments all the way through Season 8 Episode 17, Goodbye Stranger. It's been so long that you might have forgotten what Meg did in Supernatural, Butch's just so unpredictable. One episode she's orchestrating brutal possessions, and in the next she's trading quips with Castile as a reluctant ally. Her manipulation of Sam in Season 2 Episode 14, Born Under a Bad Sign, highlights her cruelty, while future appearances highlight how deftly she navigates Hell's power games. Dick Roman. Close-up shot of James Patrick Stewart as Dick Roman sitting in a limo in Supernatural. Season 7 introduces Dick Roman, the Leviathan's leader who murders the real Dick Roman to assume his identity. He's a billionaire CEO, one of the most intelligent supernatural villains who corrupts big business to control humans through food. He's a literal predator who views people as livestock, but was ultimately too smart for his own good. Dick uses Richard Roman Enterprises to expand his reach and serves as a classic, world domination villain. In episodes like Season 7 Episode 6, Fiction, Dick outmaneuvers the Winchesters by duplicating them. He's less intimate to the Winchesters than other antagonists but no less frightening, and a fun jack at turning capitalism itself into horror. The Darkness, Amora. Emily Swallow as Amora standing in the middle of nowhere in back of a fire in Supernatural. Introduced in Season 11, Amora is the Darkness, an ancient force god once locked away. At first, she arrives as Devastation incarnate, unleashing a dark fog upon entire towns and striking down angels without effort. As the season unfolds, though, her motives reveal something far more human, the longing of a sibling abandoned and forgotten. In stories like Season 11 Episode 6, Our Little World, Amora's connection with Dean complicates everything. Their bond blurs the line between attraction and destiny, leaving Dean torn between duty and an undeniable pull toward her. To go as far as torturing Lucifer and killing Metatron is exactly why Amora is one of the most dangerous villains in Supernatural. Alistair. Christopher Heyerdahl as Alistair in Supernatural, looking worn, angry, and bloody. Alistair appears in Season 4 as a supernatural demon stronger than angels, and his calm, deliberate cruelty makes him one of the show's most chilling foes. He doesn't scream or posture, instead, he treats torment like a craft, speaking with the pride of someone who considers pain an art form. His presence alone is enough to rattle Dean long after their encounters. Season 4 Episode 16, On the Head of a Pin, delivers his most unforgettable scenes. Alistair's taunts force Dean to confront the choices he made on the rack, twisting guilt into a weapon sharper than any blade. Even with limited appearances, Alistair endures as one of the series' most terrifying villains for the way he turns Dean's trauma against him. Metatron. Curtis Armstrong as Metatron wielding a shotgun in Supernatural. Metatron is introduced as God's scribe, a quiet villain who is more of a scholar than a schemer. That facade crumbles in Season 9, when he manipulates Castile and seizes control of heaven, expelling the angels in the process, and that's just one of the worst things Metatron did in Supernatural. Unlike many of the show's grander villains, Metatron is painfully insecure, often jealous of Castile's popularity, and he craves adoration. That's the tragedy of Metatron. He never truly sought justice or balance, only validation. Underneath the arrogance and manipulation was a small man who wanted to be worshipped, and it doesn't get more human than that. Lilith. Catherine Bocher as Lilith, pinned to the wall by an invisible force in Supernatural. Although Lilith is briefly teased in Seasons 2 and 3, she becomes one of the most powerful characters in Supernatural Season 4, possessing children as hosts, which is deeply disturbing for any villain. As the first demon created by Lucifer, she embodies Hell's oldest cruelty, but her importance lies in breaking the 66 seals required to free Lucifer. Lilith's arrival marks the shift toward the show's most apocalyptic arcs, and her death brings one of the series' biggest twists. Sam, manipulated into killing her, becomes the final step in unleashing Lucifer. That outcome makes Lilith essential to the show's entire mythology, proving that her influence shaped the path of the Winchesters, sealing their place in a cosmic war. Azazel. Frederick Lane as Azazel in Supernatural. Better known as the Yellow-Eyed Demon, Azazel is one of the strongest supernatural villains who begins it all. He murders Mary Winchester in the pilot, sets fire to the boy's home life, and spends years grooming children like Sam for Hell's plans. In doing so, he creates the foundation of the entire series. The Season 2 finale captures the scale of his scheme, forcing Sam into a fight to the death against other psychic children. Dean's eventual use of the cult to kill Azazel feels like closure, but his fingerprints loom across future seasons. Few villains can claim to have shaped the Winchesters' lives so completely, which makes Azazel one of the most important figures in the show. God, Chuck Shirley. Rob Benedict as God, aka Chuck Shirley, typing on an old computer in Supernatural. First introduced as a reclusive prophet, Chuck Shirley spends nearly 7 years playing the part of comic relief before revealing his true nature. By the final seasons, he's no longer just a writer documenting the Winchesters' lives, he's God himself, and he's tired of his creation. That twist reframes the entire story, turning the supposed creator into the ultimate manipulator. Episodes like Season 15's The Trap show Chuck's god powers at his cruelest, delighting in orchestrating the brothers' pain as if it were a draft of his next novel. Making God the last villain gave the series its boldest meta-statement. This whole time, the Winchesters were fighting for their right to free will, against the author of their own story.